We recently made a video covering how to get the xTool D1 up and running with LightBurn. In that video, we went through the process of updating the machine's firmware to make it LightBurn compatible, as well as how to configure the machine in LightBurn. Prior to following this video, you'll want to make sure the D1 is working correctly with LightBurn. A link will be in the description to our previous D1 video so that you can follow that guide before continuing with this video. Today, we'll be going through getting the xTool D1 Rotary attachment set up. This will cover the physical installation process, configuring the rotary with LightBurn, and running a job. Timestamps will be in the description so that you can skip around as needed. Before we connect the rotary to the D1, let's take a quick look at what's included with the rotary add-on. In the box, you'll find the main rotary unit, a small bag containing the long stepper motor cable with some spare screws, and extension tubes for the feet on the D1. We will start off by installing the extension tubes. The rotary comes with 8 tubes, so you can add 1 or 2 extension tubes to each foot. The correct amount to add will depend on the height of the part you're engraving. I'm going to be starting out with a fairly small 3/4 inch wooden dowel, so 1 additional tube for each foot is plenty. We'll start by removing the black rubber caps on the laser's feet. This can be done by pinching the edge of the cap and pulling it outwards. Once removed, install those same black rubber caps into the bottom of the extension tubes. Then we will thread the extension tube into the existing frame feet. We will repeat this step for the 3 remaining feet and make sure that they are all nice and tight. Now that we have the machine raised up, we will adjust the roller gap on the rotary for our part. There are 3 notches that the rotary roller can be set to that is dependent on the size of the part being engraved. Option 1 will work for items with a diameter between 3 to 50 millimeters, option 2, 45 to 60 millimeters, and option 3, which is the largest, will work for items between 60 to 70 millimeters in diameter. The small dowel I'm using has a diameter of around 20 millimeters, so the smallest option is needed. To adjust this, we will flip the rotary over and remove the one screw that is holding the roller in place. With the screw removed, we can push that roller over to the first position. Making sure that the roller attachment point is in the correct slot, the last step is to reinstall the screw, securing the roller in place. Once complete, we will take the included stepper motor cable and plug the rotary attachment into the controller. The side of the cable with 6 slots will go into the stepper motor, and the side with 4 will go into the controller. These cables have little notches on them, so they can only be inserted in one direction, and you do not need to apply much force. The rotary port on the controller is easily accessible, especially with the extension tubes being installed. As far as positioning of the rotary, start with placing it somewhere in the center of the machine with the numbers on the right side facing you. Next, take the item that is to be engraved and place it on the rotary. Then, grab the head of the laser and pull it over to the part. Use the built-in kickstand for setting the correct focal distance to that part. Do your best to center the kickstand arm on your part before tightening the screw securing the laser head. Then, tuck the kickstand away. At this point, with the head of the laser roughly in the middle of our workspace, we can power on the D1 and connect the USB cable from the laser to the computer. Jumping into LightBurn, we'll first make sure that LightBurn is connected to the D1. We can confirm this by looking at the console, where it will display the machine name and firmware version when it is connected. Start off by clicking on the gears icon in the top toolbar. This will open up the general LightBurn settings dialog window. On the right-hand side of the window, a few rows down, there's an option to show rotary enable on the main window. We will enable that option, then click OK to apply the settings and close the window. Now that we have that enabled, if we look at the laser window, there is an option to enable rotary. This will allow us to quickly toggle rotary mode on or off. Next, we will go to the rotary setup in LightBurn. Prior to version 1.1.00, this was under the Tools menu, but it's now accessed through the separate Laser Tools menu. Within the rotary setup window, we need to select Roller as rotary type and set Enable Rotary to active. The rotary axis for the D1 is the Z-axis. xTool does provide additional information needed that is specific to their roller. For millimeters per rotation, the value is 360 millimeters, and the roller diameter is 17 millimeters. To confirm, I took digital calipers and measured the diameter for my roller, which was 17.06 millimeters. This is a very small deviation, so I stuck with the recommended 17 millimeters. If you do have calipers, it's not a bad idea to verify this value. Since we are using a roller style rotary, the object diameter and circumference do not need to be entered. However, I do like to grab the diameter so that we can see how much area we have for our design. Entering the diameter or circumference will calculate the other value for you. In this case, the wooden dowel has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. Before we close out of the rotary setup, it is recommended to click the test button. If everything is correct, the head of the laser should move back and forth in the x-axis, and the rotary roller will do one complete rotation, pause, and then return. Next, we will activate the text tool and click in our workspace to place the text cursor. For this job, I will be engraving the words rotary test into our wooden dowel. If you're following along with this project, feel free to use any text or words that you would like. If you know the length of your part, you can drag the corner of your text to scale it up or down, making sure it will fit onto your material. Alternatively, with the text active, we can set the width and height to an exact value using the text boxes in the top toolbar. Heading over to our cuts and layers window, we're going to change the text from line mode to fill so that it fills in the inside of our text. The correct speed and power will depend on the material you're going to be engraving, the wattage of your diode, and your desired output. For the 10-watt version of the D1, I want a fairly deep engrave, so we will be going with a speed of 4,000 millimeters per minute and 40% power. If you run your job and see that the text is too charred or too light, you can adjust these settings accordingly. The last thing we will want to do for our design is click on the preview button in the top toolbar to make sure that our output looks correct. This is something that you will want to get in the habit of doing, as it only takes a moment and can prevent mistakes on your material. Everything looks good, and we can close out of this window. The final step before running our job is positioning the laser. We recommend using current position as the start from option. In the laser window, next to start from, there's a drop-down menu where we will select current position. We recently released a video on the 3 different start from options, so if you have any questions, links will be in the description to that video. When we activate the current position mode, we will see the job origin grid beneath the drop-down menu. The job origin control in the laser window will tell LightBurn how to position the job relative to the laser. We are using the very center option both horizontally and vertically, so the laser head will need to be centered on my part in both the X and Y direction. A pencil can be used to mark the center of the object, but in this case, I'm going to do my best to eyeball it. Thanks to the built-in positioning X on the D1, this is very easy to do. At the machine, we will grab the laser head and move that X to the top center of our part. Once in place, in LightBurn, we will click the square framing button in the laser window. This will outline the job both in the X-axis and on the rotary. The key thing we are looking for is to make sure the design does not run off the end of our material. If it does, we will need to scale down the text and run the frame command again to make sure it is within the boundaries of the material. Once this has been confirmed, all that is left is to click Start to begin running the job. With my settings, this took a few minutes for the text to engrave and it turned out great. The process outlined in this video can be repeated for just about any object you throw on the rotary. When you do decide to unplug the rotary and go back to the standard X and Y axis engraving, make sure that the Enable Rotary option in the laser window has been deselected. Failing to do so will result in incorrect output for your Y axis motor and will cause your job to fail. Similarly, when you want to use the rotary again, that option will need to be re-enabled. You should now have a much better understanding of how to set up the rotary with your xTool D1, as well as how to position and run a job for it. The LightBurn forums are a great resource for getting help and searching for additional information on topics covered in this video. If you have not already, I would highly recommend making an account over there, and we'll have a link to our forums in the description of this video. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for future videos, and take a look at our existing YouTube video playlist for many more guides.